Welcome to a new edition of the Statline podcast. We're in week 12 of the podcast. We've taken a couple of weeks off, but we're heading into the 14th week of the NFL season. Atlas, how you feeling, man?
I feel good, yeah. Like you said, we have taken a little bit of time off, but we are back, ready
The
to
holidays took a toll
talk.
on us.
Holiday, Thanksgiving break, it's all good. But Safal, tell the viewers what you were doing over Thanksgiving weekend, because I think they would all be jealous, though.
No, dude, Thanksgiving weekend was a blast. I went to St. Martin, spent some time over there in the Caribbean. I went to the Dominican Republic, and then I got back to New York, and then literally the next day I went to Boston to watch Drake May cook versus the Giants, man. I love that guy. You have you seen that Drake May lover Instagram account or the
Yeah.
Twitter account? Dude,
hmm He's
Drake May
reacted
is
to
my
that
favorite player in
video,
the
I
NFL
think.
after like anyone on the Panthers. Drake May is my favorite player in the NFL, and it's because of Drake May lover. Like, and obviously the fact that Drake May went to UNC, that too. But he's just such a likable guy, dude. Such a likable guy. Have you seen his wife's TikToks where she makes the recipes?
Yeah, dude, I saw that Statline Pod had watched some of those videos on TikTok.
No way! I didn't switch the accounts.
Yeah, no, so I've seen her TikToks, but yeah,
And
Drake May
Michael May,
just
my goat.
yeah, she just they just do all the right things. It seems like Drake May just doesn't make too many mistakes. Like he's really up there for the MVP right now. So we'll see what happens the rest of the
I mean, I think
season.
he should be the MVP. You think it should be Stafford?
I mean, the Panthers defense looked pretty good against Stafford and kind of hindered his MVP case with those two picks, but
Yeah, and remember, it's that same Panthers defense that Drake May put up 42 against.
Yeah, you make a good point. I think as of now, Drake May is the MVP, but the next few weeks, what's going to happen? Who knows? Because
Yeah, I think we're at a point where like every game can tilt it now. I think Stafford and Drake May are so close to each other in the MVP race. Both teams are, top of the conference. In the Rams in the NFC. I guess Rams and Seattle are like the same record in the NFC. Tied for like number one in the conference.
no,
And
the Bears are the number one seed now.
Oh, and the Bears, they all have the same record.
Yeah,
I guess I'm talking about the record. Yeah, you're right. If you factor in the tiebreakers, currently, if the season ended today, the Bears would be the number one seed. But in the NFC, in terms of the records, Rams still are tied for the best record in the NFC. The Patriots have the best record, or are tied for the best record in the AFC with the Denver Broncos. And both quarterbacks are, they're freaking awesome. And I look, the Rams have better weapons than New England. They got the Rams have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. New England has Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry,
but New
Demario
England's got
Douglas.
the by far a better defense. Like they have the best defense in the league outside of maybe Houston. The Patriots defense is
Yeah,
is
I mean,
absolutely
I think it's
insane.
top three. I think Houston and Denver are better, and then New England. I mean, Gonzo's a lockdown corner. Like I can't say
No,
enough about him.
and yeah, their front four is really good. Hopefully Milton Williams comes back
Mike
pretty soon.
Vrabel's
But
just turned it
yeah,
around in New England, man.
the Rams defense they're pretty good and they have some good games, but they can also give up like 35, 40 points like in a week as well. So I
I mean,
think New
yeah.
England's the better team right now over the Rams, but that's a lot to say with Drake May playing as good as he is so far.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about like MVP quarterback race and whatnot. If you look at the number one seeds, if the season ended today, as you mentioned, it's the Bears in the NFC, the Patriots in the AFC, and that should show NFL teams how quickly you can turn it around. These are both bottom barrel franchises at the end of the year last year, right? Like some of the worst teams in the league. Matt Eberflus was leading Chicago and Gerard Mayo was leading New England. They make a home run hire, both of these guys, teams. Chicago gets Ben Johnson, turns it around in 1 year, and New England gets Mike Vrabel, turns it around in 1 year. Remember, Caleb Williams and Drake May are part of the same 2024 draft class, right?
hmm
You hit the quarterback position.
Shout out Jaden Daniels for
Shout out
last
Jane
year's
Daniels.
season,
Yeah, it's true.
man.
The top three picks in the 2024 draft, all of them are balling. But in the National Football League, if you can hire the right coach, you don't need to wait 3 years to figure it out, man. The right coach will turn it around. Even in Carolina, it's taken Dave Canales a couple years, but they're turning ship in Carolina as well, man. Like we beat the Rams, we've beaten the Packers. I mean, Packers and the Rams at whatever point in the season have both been considered the best team in the NFC this year. And Panthers went into Green Bay, beat them down, and then obviously Rams came into town and Derek Brown did his thing. J.C. Horn or Mike Jackson
Mike
with the
Jack, yeah.
pick six against Stafford. That was just a huge game for Carolina, and it just shows the importance of coaching in this league, man. Like, and the quarterback position. You got to have both because Kevin O'Connell, great coach in Minnesota, doesn't have a quarterback right now. He's fallen off off the standings. And then now you have these guys in Chicago, in New England, in Carolina, all these great coaches paired up with decent quarterbacks. In Drake May's case, a great quarterback, and they're bringing it home.
You know what's crazy is how good the NFC is this year. Like the Panthers are what, 7-6,
7-6.
and
Yeah,
they're ninth seed right now. They're the ninth
yeah,
seed.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
It's
I think that,
ridiculous.
yeah, the Cowboys like should be in contention, but they're the 10th seed, and their only hope is the Eagles falling off a cliff, which obviously could happen with Patullo right now. But yeah, it's just crazy because I mean the Lions aren't even in the playoffs right now, and they're 8-5. Like, the
Cowboys
NFC is
six
much,
six and one.
yeah, NFC is much better than the AFC this year, and I never thought I would say that for this season.
No, for sure. I mean, in the NFC, like the Panthers are 7-6 right now, and their best way to make the playoffs is to win the division. They don't even have like an outside shot at the wild card. Like if we look at the NFC like playoff picture, I get you got obviously like the divisions, NFC North and NFC West. You got just top tier teams on both divisions. There's going to be three teams that have top tier records on both of those divisions. The NFC West has 49ers, Seahawks, and the Rams. I mean, the 49ers are the worst of the bunch with 9-4. The others are 9-3. And then in the NFC North, you've got the Bears at 9-3. You got the Packers at 8-3-1, and you got the Lions at 8-5. Of those six teams, one of them's not going to make the playoffs. And then you got
I,
the Panthers and the Bucks in the NFC South.
I heard a lot of sports radio talk, and they said that their most likely team is the Bears to miss the playoffs of that bunch,
I wouldn't put it past them, dude.
even though they're the one seed right now. Like, I mean, they don't have the experience, and shout out to Shanahan, man, being 9-4 with that 49ers roster. How many injuries they've faced this season? Brock Purdy's missed about half the season. All the plethora of injuries as well on defense. Like for them to be at that record right now is truly telling of how great of a coach he is, at least regular season wise.
I mean, if we look at the Bears' schedule, right? They got the Packers this week. That's a tough game. They got the Browns next week. Let's give that game to them. And they got the Packers again, the Niners, and then the Lions. They have a gauntlet to finish the season, and remember with the Bears, they have a lot of close wins. It reminds me a lot of the Vikings from 2022, the Bears from 2018, just the Giants from 2022. If you remember, they just win these close games. I mean, yes, they beat the Eagles. They handily beat the Eagles. But outside of that, they beat the Steelers by 3 points, beat the Vikings by 2, Giants by 4. They beat the Bengals by 4. Like just Commanders by 1 point, the Raiders by 1 point. These are 50-50 games that the Bears have won. And in the National Football League, yes, situational football matters, but a lot of times you see teams that win these close games, at an extraordinary rate come down to the mean. And we've seen it with the Chiefs, right? They won every close game for a year and a half, and this year they can't win the close games for some reason. They couldn't beat Dallas this past week. They lost to Buffalo in a close one. A couple weeks ago. They've lost to Denver on a close one. They just can't win the close games this year for some reason. And that just speaks to the parity in this league. Most teams in the NFL are pretty close to each other. Most teams are 8-8. And it comes down to what you do in these situational football moments, down the wire and whatnot. And a couple games goes this way, a couple games go that way, and your season's flipped, your careers are flipped, coaches get fired because of that, and it's crazy. And the Bears have a gauntlet coming up for them. And if I had to choose one team that's not going to make the playoffs, I think I might choose the Bears as well, even though the Bears are 2 full games ahead of the Lions.
Yeah, no, it's hard to tell me that the Lions aren't going to make the playoffs, but the Bears are. Like talent wise, like it's not even a question. Like the Lions are built for making the playoffs, and they had a really good record for the first half of the season, and then kind of fell off a little bit as of late, but they have won the past two, so it'll be interesting to see. I think you know the Bears are most likely to miss the playoffs, even with the best record. You can't tell me that the Niners are going to miss the playoffs or the Seahawks are going to miss the playoffs with how both of those teams are playing, but
I
we'll
mean,
see.
no, I don't know. I think Seahawks and Rams are locks. I think.
Hmm.
I think. I think those two teams are gonna make it regardless. They have one game against each other left. It's a Thursday night game in a couple of weeks. I mean, like think about how great of a Thursday night game that's gonna be. Seattle and the Rams, might be the two best team in the league. Who knows? And I think outside of those two teams, it could be any of the other teams. It could be San Francisco. I could see that happening as well. It could be, I mean, San Francisco and Chicago play each other. Detroit and Chicago plays each other. Packers and Bears are playing twice. I mean, the NFL schedule makers cooked with the way the
Hmm.
schedule is falling at the end of the year. You've got some great and important matchups like all throughout the divisions, right? I mean, the AFC North, it's between the Steelers and the Ravens right now. They're playing this week, and they have another game coming up. They're playing each other twice to decide the season. In the NFC South, you got the Panthers and the Buccaneers. They're, fighting for the division, and they have yet to play each other. They got two games against each other left. Wow, just what a marvelous schedule making by the National Football League. They cooked with that.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. We got some primetime games these next few weeks. I'm excited, especially for week 17, week 18, when these divisions are on the line. See who comes out on top. Hopefully, the Eagles, the NFC East is locked away by that point. Got to get it together this week
I don't
against
know,
the
man. I don't
Chargers, man.
know.
I don't know. The Cowboys
He's in.
really needed this win to really give us some worry, but I think there's a chance that we miss the playoffs altogether. Honestly, with how our current team is playing, I don't think that will happen, and I think we will get it together with enough talent that we have on the
I mean, you
roster.
think they're
But
gonna beat the Chargers this week?
it really sucks losing Jalen Carter. He got a surgery on both shoulders over the week, and he'll be out Monday night and maybe potentially longer than that. And with him, we're about a top five defense, but without him, we're bottom five defense. And it's really hard to play without JC in the middle. But I'm gonna say yes, we will beat the Chargers. We'll see. Justin Herbert, he injured his non-throwing arm, but hopefully we can get some pressure on him and make him uncomfortable back there. But it'll be a close one.
Yeah, we got a big one on Sunday night as well. We got Texans and Chiefs. Texans are now above. I mean, think about the AFC South as well. We haven't
Oh
even touched
wow,
on the
yeah.
AFC South. The Jaguars are leading the division. Just 3 weeks
Jacoby
ago, that was
Myers, man. Shout out NC State, man. He's came over to the Jaguars and instantly become receiver one.
over
Snatched
Brian Thomas
BTJ's
Jr.
chain. Yeah, he took it and yeah, he's been playing really good. But continue.
No, I was saying we talk about all these divisions. We didn't even mention AFC South. The
Mm-hmm.
Colts were the one seed in the AFC. Looked like they were, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC was going to go through Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, but 3 weeks later, they're third in the division. The Texans have the tiebreaker on. I mean, I don't know if they're third yet. I think the Texans have a better record than the Colts or something. But the Texans have beaten the Colts. They've won what 3 or 4 in a row with
Mm-hmm.
different quarterbacks. Davis Mills won 3. C.J. Stroud comes in and wins. They have the best defense in football. They're now going up against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes in a must-win game for the Chiefs, right? I mean, Chiefs aren't making the playoffs if they lose this one. It's over. It's wraps if they
Yeah,
if they lose this
because
one. What a
The
huge
Broncos
game on Sunday night.
this year, like in most years, the AFC West is rather non-competitive, at least over the Mahomes era, and the Chiefs have enough wiggle room where they can kind of slack off some games and have some lost games like they've had the past couple of weeks. But this season, with how much pressure Denver's put on them and the big lead that they have, their only hope is the wild card. And honestly, it's not looking too good, especially if Houston's able to take them down. But Houston
I mean,
and
dude, okay, Chiefs are not winning the division, right? I mean, they're four
oh
games.
yeah,
They're fully
no,
4 games behind Denver right now with 5 games left in the year. Denver, the division is going to come down to Denver and LA. That's
hmm
what the division is going to come down to. LA
I
is even
think it's
2 games
just
behind.
Denver,
Yeah, yeah. I
honestly.
mean, but this game is huge for the Chiefs in the wild card race in the AFC. I mean, at 6-7, it's no shot. Even if they went out, is a 10-7 team gonna make the playoffs in the AFC? I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. Like we got Buffalo, we got like we have Indianapolis, Chargers. We got let's say
Jaguars
the
or
Jaguars win
Houston.
the AFC
Okay.
South, right? We have Houston, we have Indy, we have Buffalo, we have the Chargers, and then that's four teams. There's only three teams left, and then for next year there's the loser between the Ravens and the Steelers. They're both 6-6 right now. The Chiefs, and then the Dolphins are creeping up. I don't know. They're 5-7,
Yeah,
dude. They're 5-7.
you lost me, bro. I just heard on St. Brown's podcast, HN talking about how all the Miami players party after wins, so that may be their only excuse to get some wins the rest of the year to go to the strip clubs and clubs down in Miami. But they are not
Uh,
really serious. There's no way they're making the playoffs this year.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. They might win out, dude. They have a pretty easy schedule rest of the way. They have the Steelers coming up. I'll tell you that they got the Jets. I think they have the Browns playing the Raiders. Like they got an easy schedule coming up. I mean,
Hey
I'm pulling
man,
up their schedule. They
you
got the
gotta watch it.
Bengals.
You gotta watch out for the Cleveland game. Deshaun Watson might be back by that point, so
Oh,
it's
sorry.
crazy.
I was wrong. It's not Cleveland. They're playing the Jets, Steelers, Bengals, Buccaneers, and Patriots. And Patriots might have it locked up everything by the end of the year. That's the last game of the year. I mean, I hope they beat the Buccaneers for the Panthers' sake, you know.
Hmm.
So they got the Jets, Bengals. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're far fetched on the Dolphins, but back to the AFC West point, I guess. Denver has a game this week against the Raiders. That's a wash. But after that, Denver's schedule is pretty tough too. They have the Packers, then the Jaguars. Jaguars are going to be fighting for the AFC spots. Obviously, we talked about the Packers and how they have to fight to make the playoffs. Then we got the Chiefs. But I mean, that's second. That's Christmas Day game against the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs will be out of the playoffs by then. We don't know. And then they got the Chargers. So if they lose one game along the way and the Chargers win out, it could be for the AFC West that last game of the year. So all these divisions, man. Oh, we're getting ready here at the
Dude,
Statline podcast for these games, upcoming
oh my
games.
gosh, dude! I was talking about those games. I was just thinking, man, this season's flown by, but this is like what we're excited for. Especially we got both of our teams have a chance at least to make the playoffs, and
For
this
sure.
we both got some skin in the game this year, which is the first time in a couple of years, at least for that to be the case.
Couple of years and in like a decade, dude. The Panthers have not sniffed important playoff games or important games in December since Cam Newton was playing there. So this is huge for the state of North Carolina and South Carolina. Given it's the Carolina Panthers, huge for the Carolinas that we're this far. We're this good this far into the season, but let's turn the page from the NFL to the college ranks. There's a lot of news right now, Atlas, with the college football playoff rankings. We got the championship games this weekend, and then the coaching change between Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss to LSU. What's your thoughts on that? And for the audience there, me and Atlas have not talked about this, so I'm curious to hear what Atlas has to say, and I have some thoughts on this too.
Lane Kiffin, I really liked him obviously as a coach, and I thought I didn't really read too much into his personal life or his behaviors outside of football, but
Yeah,
man,
I mean, let's
he's
forget all of that. Stick to football.
okay. Just a football man. I think it was a little bit of a dirty move. I understand why he did it, but I think the way that everything went down going to LSU and then claiming that it wasn't about money and also claiming that the players wanted him back there for the rest of the playoffs, which both have been refuted. Obviously, you're signing a $91 million contract. Of course, it is about the money. You're getting $25 million a year dedicated to your new NIL program down in Baton Rouge. And of course, it's about money. Like, and even just having that NIL contract gives you a better chance of getting those performance and incentives, like in the postseason. A better chance at winning those national championships. So I completely understand it, but just his messaging behind it was really shady to me. And I think that both him and Ole Miss are in a better space now that they're not together anymore, so to speak.
I actually don't get it. To be honest with you, how do you leave a team that's contending for the playoffs right now, right? What is the goal of a college football head coach? Win the
Win
title,
a
right?
championship.
Two things: win the championship and set your players up for the future. Right? These are kids that you're like bringing into your program. We used to be bigger college football fans when we were younger. Now we're like grown adults and whatnot. Your college years are really important for what you become for the future, not just in terms of football, but in terms of life. This life skills you learn and whatnot. And for Lane Kiffin to just completely throw these players under the bus, these players that he preached, he told them, "Oh, team first, family, we're family. This is a brotherhood that we have here. This is a family, and these guys are winning, man. This is the best team Ole Miss has had in years since Eli Manning was there, probably." And for him to just leave them high and dry, I think was a bad move. Now, with that aside, if you take the players' viewpoint aside, right? Because the players don't care about Lane Kiffin. They don't care about the Ole Miss program. They don't care about LSU's program. What they care about is winning the games that are in front of them. They have playoff games that are going to be in front of them to, cement their legacies, cement this, year, this team as the best team in college football. It's a big deal to play college football playoff games in the South, in Mississippi, whatever. Even if you put that aside, to your point, he left Ole Miss and tried to light them up on fire on the way out, giving his
Mhm.
coaches an ultimatum to come to LSU. And then in the press conferences, acting like, "Oh, like I wanted to coach there. The players wanted me to coach there, but it was Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, that didn't want me to coach there, and I didn't know I wasn't gonna coach there until like the morning of." Like, what are you on, dude? You went to Ole Miss's like conference rivals in the middle of a playoff season while the recruiting is all going on, right? Like it's ridiculous what Lane Kiffin is doing. With that being said, though, I get it. I get it, right? Like
I,
he's gonna get.
I, No, I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say I think this is more a knock on the scheduling of what
Oh,
college football
100%.
is now. Like having
100%.
NIL signing day or player signing day, like right now, at this time when the playoffs are going on, like these teams that have worked so hard throughout the season to have a good enough season to be viewed as a playoff team, and now they're getting their coach ripped away. And this isn't just the only incident of that happening. Like this happened. This has happened multiple times over the past few years. And Lane Kiffin obviously is going to be at a higher magnitude than most, but this cycle is just absolutely terrible for the players and the coaches alike, and the schools as well. But it seems like they only care about money. This whole
But do they
NCAA
though?
thing.
Like from what I've read, Ole Miss was gonna offer the exact same contract to Lane Kiffin that LSU offered them, right? And in the modern college football, I mean, and this idea that Lane Kiffin was the best candidate is also like just categorically false. He was the best candidate that raised his hand up, right? If you're LSU, who do you want? Lane Kiffin or Kurt Signetti from Indiana? I think I would take Kurt Signetti. Indiana is a lesser program than Ole Miss, but Kurt Signetti did not choose to leave because he said, "Hey, I have a team that's competing for the Big Ten championship right now. We're the number 2 ranked team. We're gonna make the playoffs regardless with the bye, right? They're gonna have a bye locked up regardless of what happens in the Big Ten championship game this weekend." And he declined the Penn State job. I'm sure Penn State called him up. He declined the LSU job. He declined the Florida job. Dan Lanning at Oregon, a lesser program than LSU, Penn State, Florida, all these guys, Power Five schools that have openings. He said no. Like Lane Kiffin is is saying yes, and I don't know why. Like you're a legend in Ole Miss right now. You're a legend in the state of Mississippi. You've built this program, from the ground up. You are the face of this program. You can go down as the, Nick Saban of Alabama if you stay here. You can go down as, the Urban Meyer, Ryan Day of Ohio State, like Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Like you can be one of these legendary coaching figures in your hometown. Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. You know what I mean? These
Yeah,
types of
this is his most important year of his college football career as a
hun-
as a
and
coach.
it's not guaranteed that Lane Kiffin will reach this stage at LSU. What has Lane Kiffin achieved in football? Like if we talk about it like that,
Won
nothing
a national championship as a offensive coordinator. That's his
on
only
Pete
accomplishment.
Carroll's staff.
Mm.
Pete Carroll, one of the greatest, college coaches of all time, won a Super Bowl in the NFL as well. He won a
Well, he
national
was
championship,
on Saban's staff as well for Alabama, one of Alabama's
but I think
championships.
he got kicked off
Oh,
the
right,
national
right.
title game. Nick Saban said, "You're not coaching for us. You already took a new job. Get out of here." You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he's shady for sure.
and he has the worst exits in football history. Like if you talk
With
about it, like
Tennessee.
Tennessee, he got fired on the tarmac at USC. Imagine how bad it must have been for the athletic director to fire him at 3 in the morning as the plane landed in LA, right?
That's some Chris Paul stuff right there.
We got to get into that in a bit too, but
Dude, that
um,
was
and then we have the Raiders, Al Davis firing him. We have obviously you mentioned Tennessee, the USC tarmac situation. Nick Saban telling him to get the hell off the staff right before the national title game, and now this Ole Miss like saga, and all of this without any results. No results to back this up. No conference championship games. No playoff appearances. Nothing. Nothing. What are we doing here? I don't. And I get it. He's a great offensive mind. He built Ole Miss, from the ground up. I think it was better for him to stay at Ole Miss, wait a couple years until Kalen DeBoer gets fired, and go to Alabama. That's the job he wants anyway, right? Like, and to all the LSU fans out there, wait when Alabama gets rid of Kalen DeBoer and see how loyal Lane Kiffin is, because Lane Kiffin is getting up
oh,
out of there and
he
going
would
to
get.
Tuscaloosa the first chance he gets.
Yeah, no, I don't like any of this situation, but like I said, regardless of his decision, it shouldn't be
Oh,
in this
100%.
season. It should not be in this season. Like we should be talking about
The
this after the season. If they
the
win a
college
national
football
championship,
landscape is the reason why
it's
this drama is
terrible.
happening. I agree.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yes.
that's just my point because like even with the whole scheduling of who's in the college football playoff is completely insane. I think Miami right now should be in the playoff, and there should be no second thought
It's
about that.
ridiculous
But
that
right
Notre
now,
Dame's in front of them.
yeah, right now they have Notre Dame in front of them.
I think that's going
I
to change.
think
I think this be a BYU Texas Tech game. After that, it'll change because
well
either BYU's
if Texas Tech wins, obviously BYU's out of the playoff. In my opinion, at least. And I think that, in my opinion as well, I think if Bama loses big to Georgia today, I think that they should get out of the playoff. But I know the SEC bias is going to contradict that, and we're going to see both Bama and
okay.
Georgia
I,
in the
I
playoff.
disagree with that. Well, I think I agree with your bigger premise, but the fact that Bama's already in the top 10 rankings, I don't think you can take a top 10 team out of the top 10 because of losing in a conference championship game, because you will completely devalue the conference championship if they were to take out Alabama from the college football playoffs, because BYU, they strategically placed them at number 11, I think, because they could take out BYU if they lost the conference championship game. Because if you
Hmm.
put BYU at number 10, you cannot take them out, even if they lose the championship game, right? Like, because
Well, that's what I don't get about the Miami ranking is like you're basically telling me that they're not going to make it
I actually
into
think they
the.
will. I think it's actually pretty safe to assume that. Okay, I think if BYU loses, I think Miami will make the playoffs. Because if BYU loses, they're going to be out, right? Miami will get moved up to the 11th slot. That means Notre Dame and Miami will get compared head to head, meaning the tiebreakers will come into place. And the committee has told us that the number one tiebreaker, if the teams are right next to each other, is head to head. Miami will have them head to head. Miami will get that 10th spot, and then the ACC championship game winner and Tulane will round out the top 12. That's what I think will
No,
happen
the
if.
ACC championship winner is not making it in. There's no way Duke's making the
Okay,
playoff
maybe
regardless.
James Madison would probably make it over Duke, but I think
JMU
if
and
UVA won,
Tulane.
UVA would make it.
I don't think so. Oh yeah, the UVA would probably make it because they have a
I
little bit better of
and
a record. But
they will not allow. They're not going to have a playoffs without an ACC team. They just
well, that's what
cannot.
I'm saying. You can't double dip though. You're gonna pick Miami, but you're probably not gonna put Duke in there
If
100%.
Duke wins, yes.
Yeah, if Duke wins,
If I
like
mean if
that's
Duke
just,
wins, you can't put
that
Duke
that
in
would
there. I
that
mean, come
would
on.
tear up whatever integrity is left of college football if Duke makes the playoffs in any circumstance. Like
Well,
that should
I
not
kind
happen.
of disagree with that. I think if you win the conference championship, you got to make it in. What's the point of playing these games then? It can't be about resumes. It has to be about results. And if Duke wins the conference championship, the ACC is a big enough conference with big enough programs
Well,
where
Duke, the only reason why Duke's even in the conference championship, sorry to cut you off there, but the only
no, go
reason
ahead.
why they're even in the conference championship is because the ACC tiebreakers are so bad this year. There's no commonalities, like there's no common opponents. There's 18 teams or 17 or 18 teams in the conference. Like this is not good for college football. These mega conferences are killing the integrity. There should be no way that Duke should even be in the ACC championship and have contention for the playoff right now,
That's
and
true.
that's
If
just
I
what
was
makes me
ACC, I would have called in to
upset.
the tiebreaker committee, whoever does this tiebreaker, and said, figure out a tiebreaker to put Miami in. We cannot
Yeah.
risk. Like, think about it. The ACC, if they do not get a team into the playoffs, Clemson's out of there. They're going to the SEC.
Hmm.
Florida State's probably going to go to the SEC. UNC's going to look to move to the Big Ten probably and align with the academically, challenged schools, whatever. That from what I've read, it's gonna be a tough position for Duke and NC State, and I mean maybe Duke has enough cachet in the basketball program to join one of these mega conferences, but it's gonna leave these other schools in a very precarious position. Like, what is Louisville gonna do? What's
Wake
NC State gonna
Forest.
do? Wake Forest, like these are schools that are gonna have no home in the conference. They're gonna have to go join the Big 12 probably.
That's why it just sucks. Like the Big East, first off, should have never gone out. Like those teams matched for that. And now we got like the Pac-12 should have never left. We shouldn't have Oregon in the Big Ten. We shouldn't have all these random teams like
I mean, Oklahoma and
SMU,
Texas leaving the
Stanford.
Big 12 it changed everything, I think.
Yeah, Stanford in the ACC is just still doesn't, or
Ridiculous.
Cal. Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. But either way, yeah, I don't know. I think we pretty much got the playoffs figured out for what we think. But
I mean,
yeah,
I think the playoff is this. If BYU wins, Notre Dame and Miami is not going to make it. BYU is going to move into that 10 spot. It'll be if UVA wins the ACC championship, UVA will make it along with Tulane at the 11 and 12. If Duke wins, they'll probably put in James Madison. If Texas Tech wins it, Miami will get into that 10 spot, and then it'll be Tulane and either James Madison or UVA. I think that's it. I actually would put a lot of money that Notre Dame's not going to make the playoffs, even though they're number 10 right now.
yeah, I could see that, but I can never have true faith in the college football playoff committee because they've done some crazy stuff just in the few years of since we've had the college football playoff, and then these past 2 years with this new format.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, we don't really talk about college ball too much, but yeah, we just wanted to give you guys a
Yeah,
couple
that
hot
was fun
takes
talking
there.
college ball with you, Atlas.
Yeah,
We
it
don't
was,
we don't
man.
get to talk on or off camera about college football that much, but yeah, well, great podcast today, everyone. Um, great seeing you again, Alice. I know we took a week off, but we'll be back on this again. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hope you have a great, fun weekend of watching football. The playoffs, college football playoff rankings will come out tomorrow. We're filming this on Saturday. The games are happening later today, I guess, and yeah, let's see how this all unfolds, and let's see how the NFL is shaping up as we head into the crunch time of the season.
Yeah, we'll give you guys some reactions to our week 14 games, and we'll see you guys back next
And
week.
the
Thank you.
rankings as well, the college football rankings. Yep.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
we'll see.
Peace. How do I stop this? There you go.